Okay, we've looked at one of the measures of spread, which is used to describe distribution. We've looked at range. This video is going to look at interquartile range. Interquartile range is the range of the middle 50% of scores. So if we look at this diagram here, if this is our lowest score and this is our highest score, this is our middle score. Range is highest minus lowest. So range is this highest score minus the lowest score. Our interquartile range is the range from this score here to this score here. So interquartile range is the range from here to here, between the upper quartile and the lower quartile. The way it's commonly referred to in formulas is IQR equals Q3 minus Q1, or Q upper minus Q lower. Let's look at how we work this out. We've got a list of scores here. I've put them in order because I need to put them in order to work out the interquartile range. For the interquartile range, the first thing I need to work out is my median. I'm going to show you a quick way to work out the median. I'm going to cross off the lowest with the highest. Lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. That's my median, or my Q2. I now look at all the scores on that side. So I'm now just going to look at the scores that are in yellow. And I'm going to work out my Q1 by working out what's the median of those scores. So I'm going to go lowest, highest, lowest, highest. I get left with two scores. The score in the middle of those two is 5. That is my Q1. I'm now going to look at the scores to the right of the median. So I'm now going to look at the green scores, and I'm going to work out the middle of those scores. So lowest with highest, lowest with highest. I'm left with two scores. The score in the middle of those two scores is 8.5, and that is my Q3. To then work out my IQR, I write interquartile range. I get my Q3 and I subtract my Q1. So I get 8.5 and subtract 5. So my IQR is 3.5. Okay, that's interquartile range from that. Now, interquartile range from a stem and leaf plot. Same thing, we need to work out our median. You can rewrite the scores out, and that might help you, or you can just cross them off as is. So I'm going to cross off my lowest score with my highest, my lowest 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 with my highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. I'm left with two scores. The two scores I'm left with are 4.2 and 4.4. So my Q2 is I get 4.2 and I get 4.4, and I divide that by 2, so my Q2 is 4.3. Okay, now what I do is I put a division line in here. So my Q2 is in there. Everything below my Q2 I use, so everything below it, including that 4.2, I'm going to use to work out my Q1. And everything above it, including my 4.4, I'm going to use to work out my Q3. So, similar thing, let's do our highest to lowest, etc., to work out our Q1 and Q3. So I'm going to cross off my lowest with my highest, my lowest with my highest, my lowest with my highest. I'm left with two scores. So for my Q1, I get 3.0 and I get 3.1 divided by 2, so my Q1 is 3.05. For my Q3, I cross off my lowest, which is hidden under there, with my highest, my lowest with my highest, my lowest with my highest, and I'm left with 4.8 and 5.1. So I do 4.8 plus 5.1 divided by 2, and get 4.95 for my Q3. Then we go back to our formula. IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So it's 4.95 minus 3.05. So my interquartile range is 1.9 kilograms. So interquartile range is the range from Q3 to Q1. That's our formula. We must write it down. To work out Q3 and Q1, you first of all must work out your median or Q2. And then these two examples here that we went through to show you how you then work out Q1 and Q3, and again how we work out Q1 and Q3. That's how we calculate our interquartile range.